Hi, so we're going to learn the tarot. Welcome. And yeah, this is a very interesting hobby for anyone that's really beginning. I'm going to go through the 4 suits today and then work on 1 suit. I want to do this really jam-packed full of content for you, but not too much that too much information too early is very hard to handle. So we're going to go through the cups, the swords, pentacles, and the wands. And it's a really interesting topic. I want to give you tips throughout the way. I'm going to teach you all the different star signs, the numerology. It is jam-packed. There is so much to learn with the tarot that I really have to break it down. I've seen a few tutorials that are on here on YouTube. One went for an hour and 20 minutes and it was really good. But if you wanted to reference one card, it was very hard to scroll back to find where that one card was. It was so I want to break down these videos for you and let you see so that you can go back, choose a video, or be able to scroll back easier, take notes, have a pad, paper ready. You will advice before we head to the cards is buying your reference books. One of the biggest parts of advice is start with the Rider-Waite tarot deck, because why the Rider-Waite is there's a lot of beautiful decks out there. I know there is, I have them. The Rider-Waite has the original back when the tarot was first made. It was the Rider-Waite was the card, and because it has all the illustrations, all the pictures depicted in all the cards that you need to learn the symbols of. I have another deck that's not Rider-Waite, and I love this deck. It's beautiful, but sometimes I find it hard to read because they don't have the original symbols I'm looking for. We'll go through that later. Anyway, I want to not bore you with anything that I say. I don't want to ramble on. So let's get to the cards. Let's have fun. Okay, the first suit, the suit of wands. The wands represents the element fire. I want you all to learn the element of each suit, 4 suits. Element for wands is fire. There are also star signs represented with each suit. Now, wands represents the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. You'll have your king, queen, blah, blah, blah. You'll have your full up to your number. You have your ace of wands, and it goes all the way up the 10 of wands. Each suit goes up to the number 10. Now, remember, the wands is a fire sign. A lot of the illustrations, it's easy. It's an action. It represents action and fire, fast moving. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius cards. We'll put that up in, as this video goes along, you will see I've written it all down for you, so you can go back in these videos, you can pause, you can write your notes, however you want to reference. I want to make them very easily to understand. The cups. Now this is a water sign. Cups, water, always. I tried to always remember the cups as a water sign, thinking of the cup full of water all the time, every time I saw a cup. Now, also the water represents emotions. These cards in the cups will tell you emotions that are going to come in. Now, there's the Cleo Smith card. Isn't it beautiful? I did a reading on the Cleo Smith. What I'm trying to explain with cups being emotions was my prediction in her findings was this card came up, and it was emotions being overfilled with abundance, the 10. Now, also I'd like you to learn a bit about numerology, your numbers 1 to 10. If you learn your numbers and the meanings of each number, they really help you to learn into a tarot reader. because that's a major part of tarot, is the numerology that's involved with each number. We will get to that in future videos. These are the swords. The swords, the element air. These represent air. Now, wands was fire, cups was water. The swords, the element is air. Now, this is going to be the main suit that I'm going over a bit with you later after we've gone through the four. But this is how I remember what element the swords is I think of the metaphor, you can cut the air with a knife. I think of the sword as a knife, so air, that helps me. And the air actually represents intellect, your thoughts. Yeah, there's a lot more I've got to go into, but I'm just explaining the element of each of the four at the moment. Pentacles, that represents earth. Now you have your fire, water, air, and earth. Pentacles, when they come up in a reading, represent your real physical world. It's easier to explain this way, to break it all down. Pentacles, your physical world, your creative world, your work, you're creative, you're hard-working there. Yeah, you're watching, you're reaping what you sow in the pentacles. You're watching what your hard work is coming to. Yeah, the two of pentacles could be, tossing up between a new job. That all comes down to your real world. The four of pentacles, someone's who's guarding their possessions. You can see he's holding his money like it's his bank account. Represents your real world. Pentacles, earth. Remember, pentacles, earth. Probably my best part of the advice is buy yourself, if you're starting out in tarot, buy yourself a book set like Tarot Made Easy, Your Tarot Your Way. Barbara Moore, she is fantastic. She taught me a lot actually when I was learning, first starting. You get your book and you get your deck of cards, and it will explain card for card. She goes over a lot of the numerology, needing to know your numbers. But you need that reference when you're trying to learn your cards, as well as the tutorials on YouTube and websites. There are some great websites out there. Now, let's begin. Now, the swords is a suit of intelligence, logic, truth, ambition, conflict, and communication. It is associated with the element of air. In readings, these cards focus on the faculty and power of intellect, like your mind, which, like the swords themselves, are double-edged. This can be used for both good or evil, to help and to harm. And our greatest, our greatest conflicts usually come from this delicate balance. At the worst, the swords can be abusive, harsh, and lack empathy. What I mean, I want to back up everything I say. What I mean is the Knight of Swords. He represents someone who's rushing in to give you his opinion. The Knights, they're very, they do what they want in all the suits. They follow their own path. The Knight of Swords is always rushing back in to give you a piece of his mind. That's the energy of this, the Knight of Swords. We also have the Knight of Swords. He represents action. As you can see, his horse is in movement. You know, we follow the illustrations. His horse is moving. There's action. He represents impulsiveness. As you can depict what he's doing. You can put that into your learnings when you're looking at the illustration. He's being impulsive, but his horse is in action. All the illustrations help you remember what each card represents. He's defending his beliefs as well. Now, when you always have a reference book, but I think I took about 3 weeks to learn each card individually because I was just getting crap reading. So when I was learning, I thought, no, there's only one way to do this, is to learn my cards. The Knight of Swords, yes, you go over and over when you look at them. You put your energy into the cards: action, impulsiveness, defending beliefs. You always say, reading, for some, he could represent like the mother-in-law coming in, giving her opinion. You use that energy, air. Yeah, but remember, it's always about intelligence, logic, truth, ambition, conflict, and communication. It always represents the double edge. Here we have, now what I mean is by air, it's all in your head, I'll use these as my perfect example. The Nine of Swords, you're getting sleepless nights, but it's all you doing it to yourself in your head that's giving you these sleepless nights. Okay? This one, this is actually your inner conflict. What are we? The 8. This is imprisonment, entrapment, and self-victimization, because nothing actually shows it. You can see it's loosely put around it. You could actually get out of that if you wanted to. And the same with the Two of Swords. Again, it's about things that are in your head. It's about, you could drop one of them swords, and take that blindfold off yourself. It's all you got to do. But yeah, the two, you're just going over and over. Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? That kind of thing. It's in the head. It rules the head area. Even the Three of Swords, you have the healing heart, but you also have, it's in your mind. You can heal yourself easier from the mind. I would say, in better reference, the swords cover the mind. We have, what's another good example? Well, this is at the end. You're at the end, the 10 of Swords. You have just felt the biggest burdens, but because it's the number 10, you're at the end of this cycle. Whatever has been burdening you is over. It's done. It's in the past. Okay, again, but it's burdened you in your head. It's not like a bellyache or anything that's been burdened. It's from, something bothering you. Four of Swords. This represents meditation. Again, something we do from the mind and work on the mind healing the body in meditation. For some, this is a card of what they really should do. It's about rest and restoration and contemplation. Everything you do from the mind. The air, remember, up the airhead. That was another metaphor I used to always use for swords, to remember what part of the body they represented. Ace. Ace represents number 1 in all the suits, right? It's a start, because there is no number 1 of swords. It's Ace of Swords. This represents new beginnings, gifts, messages. These are wonderful cards, the Ace cards, because this is a breakthrough, clarity, sharp mind. And it's a gift given. It gives you the insight to see through things that maybe you can't work out because you're just procrastinating. Well, that's what I would say. It's a suit of procrastinating. We have the Page of Swords. This guy's a real funny dude, actually. He can represent someone with ADHD, even someone who has substance abuse, drug addiction. He's a real wild card, this fella. He's got curiosity, his restlessness, his mental energy. He can be rude and obnoxious, this energy. But he's of young energy as well, being a page. He's a real wild card, can even be a gossiper. Someone who starts trouble all the time from his gossiping. Thinks he's pretty cool, but yeah. And again, it's all about being young of mind, the things someone young in the mind would do. Now, I won't go over the Queen and King because I'm going to cover them in the court card segment. The Seven of Swords. Here we have the card of deceit, but it's somebody's energy who's thinking about this deceit as such. A real conniving force, this one. Sort of the deception. This is what it represents: deception, trickery, tactics, and strategy. That's the meanings. Yeah, but I've always stuck with the deception and deceit. Yeah. Yeah, just really, a nice card. Yeah. And the deceit is about he's actually stolen these swords and he's taking them back to hide, but he's watching over his shoulder to see if he's been caught by anyone. Real deceitful, but he's really plotted this too because it's an air, it's in the head area, airhead. Element air, remember. So I don't want to bore you too much with, I'll go through the 5, and I just will, because I'm going to be putting up my little notes throughout editing the video for you, so you can scroll back. I don't want to go on too long. That's one thing that really makes it hard to learn. Now we'll go over the 5 of Swords. This is really a card of you've won the argument or the battle, whatever it is. You've won whatever is in your head you wanted to do, but you've lost a lot of people along the way. Like you've taken their swords, you won. You fought their battle with them. You've taken their swords and you've left them, and you're walking away. But now it's like, well, I've won all the swords, taken them off them, but I can't carry them all. And it's about winning arguments that sometimes weren't worth winning. It's about you winning in a situation that you wish you hadn't, like when you fight with a friend and you end up, you win the fight, but your friendship is never the same, or you lose that friend and you really wish, otherwise. It's that sort of energy as well that, I really don't want to. And then but then when you've been reading for a long time, they can interpret so much more to you. For example, in the Cleo Smith reading, this was her abductor actually watching them search. He'd won the little girl at the time, but he was watching. He was not sure. Like, again, it was air. He was making him think a lot what is going on. Oh, they're very close by. But he was watching. Because he's on the physical earth, he was there watching. All of their investigations go on. So much more, but that's another time. Now, I've covered a lot. Just remember, swords is air, element air. It covers, you can cut the air with a knife. Airhead, it represents their basically intelligence, everything that goes on in your head area, all your thinkings, plannings, logic, truth, conflicts, your communication, swords. And I really need you to look into numerology. Now, in each reading, there's a lot to remember with each card. Like when you pick up a card, you have to think what element they represent. Air. What star sign do they represent? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and go over and Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, say it over and over. What part of the body, spirit, or physical world they represent? Air, the head, our thoughts, patterns. What number they represent in the line of 1 to 10. And that's why I say learn your 1 to 10. Look up some numerology. The 5 of Swords, because numerology, it breaks things down again so much easier. Now, I just want to cut it there because there's probably so much more as I edit this that I'm going to be adding in with my text. The swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, I'll put all of that in. But we covered the elements of the 4 suits, and we covered a little bit about the suit of swords today. We're going to go through each suit in all different videos.